Hello everyone and welcome to another Chill Sunday stream. I hope everyone's having a lovely Sunday so far. Got a lot to talk about today, so I hope everybody slowly makes their way in and we can start to talk about things. I'm just going to give people some time to make their way in, remind people to switch over to live chat so you can converse with one another, and get off of top chat where I don't know how they make their decision about that. Jaguar, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? As usual, your cat in the box emoji is always welcome and a great start to a lovely stream. Just gonna give people some time to make their way in because we have some important stuff to talk about today. Jaguar says, I'm doing okay and having a chill Sunday. How are you? I'm doing all right. I'm a little bit upset about some of the part of the topic that we're going to talk about today. But other than that, everything has been pretty well. Channel's been running really well as well. I've been really happy with the way things have been going. Good news out there is that channel might be getting a slight upgrade in camera soon. No promises, I gotta figure out the details of it, but just want to put it out there. Thanks to the Patreon and single donations that I've gotten over the past almost year that I've been doing this. Jalix, welcome, welcome. Yeah, some very important stuff today. True, true. And merchants, hello, hello. I hope you are all having a lovely Sunday. I am here with a pot of tea. I'm ready to go into this this next section of the game. Welcome, Ill. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. So we've got a few things to talk about today. For one, I want to talk about this game, Underhero, and what we witnessed at the end last time. Because there was a little bit of racism that happened in the game, and I actually found a comment that was put out on itch by the developer addressing this. And so I wanted to share that, and I wanted to start a conversation about that. Second, for our main topic for today, I want to talk about the food waste that was reported on in New York City. I think that has been one of the more angering things I've seen, and a lot of things on this channel have been getting me pretty frustrated as of late. In addition to that, because I don't know a lot about it, Jalix will hopefully be helping us talk a little bit about the German elections. My knowledge of it, especially because there's not a lot of good English sources on what's going on. I'm hoping Jalix can help inform us on some of the stuff. We did briefly mention some of the details about it last time, but I wanted to kind of take it to Jalix, or pass it on to Jalix and let him have a chance to talk to us about it. And if anybody has any questions or comments on that, feel free to pass it through. So, let me catch up with chat. Oh, people are saying hi to each other. I love that. Love to see it. Duke, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? And Jaguar, yeah, the game did do a racism. The developer's response was very interesting, and I do want to hear all of your takes on it. Because they were kind of called out for it in the itch comments for their game. Duke says, looking forward to hearing from Professor Jalix. Indeed, indeed. I mean, the best way to learn about these things a lot of times is to talk to comrades that are experiencing things. Because, yeah, that was an extremely uncomfortable moment in the game. But, yeah, like, just responding to you, Il, like, yeah, that was a really uncomfortable moment in the game. Their response, as far as I read, was pretty good. But I do want to hear what y'all have to say. Jalix says, Professor, I'm probably as far away from that as possible. Not as far as you think. A lot of times, I think we underestimate our own value and our own understandings, especially when we're coming from a leftist perspective. We want to always appeal to the experts as much as possible. That doesn't mean we don't have some good things to say. So, I'm going to start us up and get into the game. Let me just make sure everything is working on this end, and then I'll load in. I'm gonna close that down. Alright, we should be good to get into the gameplay. Gangle, welcome, welcome. Jalix says, I suppose a systemic point of understanding is a lot better than some other viewpoints out there. True. Very true. While we load in, I'm just gonna pour myself a little bit of tea. So I can sip on it while we're playing. So, last time, we basically went into this area, Pica Island. And, oh, is that loud for everybody else? Oh yeah, Jalix, good reminder, everyone make sure to switch over to live chat so you can talk to each other. So yeah, we have this group of people on an island that are a group of what appears to be monkey-like people that were called savages. That is what the game introduced to us at the end of the last stream. So, with that in mind, this is the area that we're at, Pica Island, and obviously there's a lot problematic there. So I want to quickly switch over to what I found from Itch, and just kind of go over that briefly. 1 second, just switching over. So, somebody in the comment section by the name of Abeja, which of course is... Jalix says, alright, Jag, good luck with the sewing. Oh, yeah, Jaguar, good luck with the sewing. So, this person called this section out and said the Monkin society was bad. Monkeys dressed in leaf loincloths and colorful masks that are being, quote, kidnapped and enslaved by El Senserismo. Their chief talks in a, quote, broken English that is reminiscent of racist stereotypes about Jamaican accents. Elizabeth is constantly calling them savages, remarking how surprisingly, quote, surprisingly civilized it is for them to not support child marriage. The bit where the chief says something about eating Masked Kid, then reassures Masked Kid and Elizabeth that he was only joking, and she says, sure you were. I'm sure you weren't making them with racist intent, including this in the racial justice bundle. So Itch had a racial justice bundle that they had done. I believe it was around the time of a little bit after George Floyd's murder in response to BLM, if I'm recalling correctly. And this game was included in that bundle. And so the inclusion of the game in the bundle makes me guess that you care at least to some degree about racism. But in making this, quote, savaged, quote, uncivilized monkey society, you've invoked a lot of racism. It's worth noting that savage, civilized, and uncivilized are all inherently racist terms, concepts, and while not everything I listed above are racial stereotypes about black people, they are racialized in relation to savagery. The idea of the, quote, savage African and native cultures participating in child marriage and or cannibalism, especially as a result/proof of their savagery/inferiority, is one with a very long and very racist history. So I read that and I was very grateful to see somebody else call that out. Now the response from Paper Castle, the developers, who mind you also have a new game coming out, wrote the following. Hey there, first of all thank you so much for playing the game and sharing your feedback. Before addressing your points, we should probably clarify that we're developers from Venezuela, not the United States. This is not to say that we're beyond criticism because we're a Latinx, but that certain things that are seen as harmful in the US might have gone over our heads because we come from a very different background. There are many references of Venezuelan culture hidden in the game that most players will probably not get, and Pica Pica tribe was one of them. The Pica Pica tribe was intended to be a reference to a group of Venezuela indigenous people called the Yanomami. Even though Elizabeth says they're, quote, uncivilized, the joke is supposed to be that they're actually just like every other minion. If you check their house, they actually have very good living conditions with TVs, ACs, and big beds. And all of them speak English perfectly except for the chief. Elizabeth is just very prejudiced against the minions in general, and at this point in the story, she's slowly overcoming it. Los Doros have 2 Hispanic first names, which is common for us, and use mariachi hats to hide their weaknesses. El Salsarismo is a reference to salsa music, and to Hispanic characters in Hollywood movies that occasionally say words in, quote, broken Spanish. Except this time, El Salsarismo speaks correct and coherent Spanish between his English lines. That said, we understand that what we made can be considered in bad taste and even harmful, and we do regret it. These jokes and references came from a place of ignorance, never of hate, and we're truly sorry if they caused any harm. Like you said, the reason we wanted to include the game in the bundle is because we care deeply about issues of racism. We grew up in a country of stark economic and social inequality, and it took us years to learn and break free of the awful beliefs we grew up with. It took us many years to make this game, almost 5, so much that our ideals and beliefs have changed and continue to change to this day. We're still learning, and we're definitely taking this criticism into account when working on future games. Again, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. So that's what I was able to find, and before I comment, I want to throw that out to all of you. Merchant says, I really like that the stream is covering their response and not leaving it out to mislead people for clickbait reasons. Yeah, I think it puts a lot into context. King Cyrus, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? I think it puts a lot in context. I do think that they were probably ignorant of a lot of the racism in their own country as well. I don't think these biases are specifically US-based. I'm inclined to agree with you, Merchants. I agree that this was a sincere and genuine apology. I feel like this was a good conversation that happened here, where the person who commented said, hey, this is what happened, this is why it was an issue, and they responded with sincerity and an apology. I do think that there is still a lot of racism in most Latin American countries when it comes to indigenous and black populations, and so they had a lot to learn. And I'm hoping that in future games that they design, that they will hopefully do better. Thing is, there's ways to have bigotry happen, like you just said, Jalix. And you could have had Elizabeth be outwardly bigoted, but constantly proven wrong, like you said. You could have had the stereotype more overtly criticized and called out. I still think it's kind of problematic to have monkeys represent indigenous people, regardless. That is an issue. But if this was, as far as I know, their first game, you know, we all have our own internal oppressions that were internalized society-wide oppressions that we're trying to make sense of and deal with, and have internalized oppression and so much more. And if they are in fact willing to grow and learn from this, and they are serious, and their next game comes out and does it better, I don't know. I think a lesson learned is important, personally. I think that their apology seemed sincere. Merchant says disbelieving them and just being angry just precludes them from making any possibility of learning from their mistake. That's the thing, right? Like, we all live in societies where racism, sexism, transphobia, and ableism, and everything else just literally permeates everywhere. It's in media, it's in all the things that we do. And for me, when I see people apologize and listen and work towards that, and seem sincere about it, I'm going to typically try to give them the benefit of the doubt, because people need to have a chance to grow. It's when people double down on it and triple down on it, and they refuse to apologize, or they give those half apologies where it's like, well, I'm sorry you're offended, or something like that. Then, not so much. And yeah, I didn't know the developers were from Venezuela either. Jaguar says, I love that they talked about how they were trying and that they're learning into open dialogue. Absolutely. Jaguar says, it does put things into context, but there are still a lot of issues in the game's depiction. I don't think they succeeded in trying to divert the racism. That's more or less my take on it. I think that they tried to divert the racism and did not accomplish it. And intent and outcome can drastically be different. And again, I think it was a very good reply, and I'm glad that we're able to have this conversation where we sit there and say, yes, this is problematic. Yes, this medium, this piece of art that was created, it has some issues. And the people who created it acknowledged it and said, we understand and we can move forward. Cyrus says, the example, GTA 4 had issues, of course, but I feel that the game had a better thing to say about American culture and racism against immigrants and that experience. Interesting. I've never really played the GTA games. Jaguar says, I agree with merchants. Getting angry and dismissing people is not conducive to helping to create change. Absolutely. So, going forward, if we all want to talk about this more, I'm very much in favor of it. But I did want to share that and bring that up because this did bother me immensely. I will be refraining from using the word savage in the context of the game from here forward, because that word is not one that I'm comfortable with for a lot of different reasons, and leaving it blank, I think, just is going to be my way of trying to deal with it. If you have any other suggestions for how I should handle it moving forward, let me know. But I did need to, like, bring it up and talk about the word, because that word is one that is drenched in racism of all kinds. Hey, you're the Coliseum champion, big fan. Especially love when you drop that hammer down. Not even rocks can withstand that. If you're heading to the jungle, you will have to pass through the beach. It's very peaceful there. Take a walk and enjoy the breeze, the sound of the waves. Who knows? Something good might happen, like finding some seashells. Merchant says, in a way, I kinda wish they could have just removed the racist stuff and updated the game. That would have been an interesting take. I'm more than happy to talk about this stuff. This stuff needs to be talked about. Criticizing these things, as King Cyrus just said, thank you. Criticizing these things makes the medium better, it makes developers better, and it makes for a better art form, and it makes it inclusive for more people so that less people are uncomfortable. Jaguar has said, I like that they made art and are treating it as such, and that it's open to critique and change, not something on a pedestal. Absolutely. Hey, you're the Coliseum champion. Big fan. Especially love... Oh, okay. They said that already. What's going on here? I am a collector of rare peppers that are found deep in the jungle of the island. I'm currently missing a few of them, but I'm afraid of going into the jungle myself. That place is scary and disorienting. I do not want to get lost in there again. Say, if you happen to find some of the peppers I'm lacking, could you bring them to me? I'm looking for a blue pepper, a red pepper, and a green pepper. I will trade them all for a special prize. Cool, we can try to find your peppers. Oh, did I just rob these people? Did not intend to do that, but the game made me pick up coins. Cyrus says exactly, this is the biggest problem with AAA games industry. There's none of that for a slight few. Don't you think it's weird how El Salsarismo follows Stitch's every command? He's a big dude. He could totally wreck Stitches. I'm not so sure. The fact that he hasn't tells me that he actually can't defeat him. I mean, if we compare power levels, even after Phase 1, Salamander Guy still has brute strength at his side. Ugh, you and your baseless power levels. Look, I just think that Mr. Stitches is the evil king for a reason. He just fears him like the rest of us. Or maybe he likes Stitches. Likes Stitches. You're spending way too much time in those online forums again. Don't you dare judge me. Jalix says, honestly, with AAA games, you aren't allowed to criticize them either as a publication or as an individual. As a publication, you'll lose your press privileges, and as an individual, you get bombarded by angry fans. Actually, that's kind of the argument that was made about most press in the US, actually, when it comes to getting access to, say, like, the president or whatever. That, I think Chomsky made that argument once in Manufacturing Consent, how a lot of newspapers feel like they have to put the media that's put out by, like, say, the president and major politicians, simply because if they don't, they'll lose access to getting into those press conferences. So it ends up keeping the status quo and keeps the norms there, and literally creates a situation where consent is manufactured. I think I'm gonna get health upgrade. And there's a hammer upgrade, a slingshot upgrade, and a sword upgrade. I'm gonna grab one of each. And that just blew through my money. Gangle says access journalism. Absolutely. Javik says I still like the snakes. The snakes are cool. I like the snakes. Jaguar says it's true, Cyrus. They're too big, so they act like they're infallible or too much on a pedestal, and sometimes they're too big to actually for actual dialogue to occur. That and the fact that they don't have any accountability because they constantly put out the same game over and over again. Duke says, gotta love how a profit-driven media that therefore requires self-interest alone is so easily guided and controlled. True. You bring up a very good point, Duke. The fact of the matter is that they end up producing a lot of the same games over and over again with just a different aesthetic, as it were. Oh no. I thought I could grab onto that. Hold up or down to climb vines. Gotcha. But, yeah, and then they're more interested in making safe games that look very similar to the games they've had before, because then they're able to, guarantee sales. This is not to say you can't have AAA games with good graphics, be good, because, case in point, Kojima and the Metal Gear Solid series. Yeah, the Metal Gear Solid series is such an exception to a lot of this, also. Well, at least the original series was. I don't think some of the later stuff had quite the same amount of commentary. Oh, we've got an encounter. If you see a round pink fish, you should definitely touch it. It'll give you some life. Heh, yeah. I have to cure my poison. How much health do you have? I think I'm gonna head back and just heal up again, because I don't want to waste the potion I have. Honestly, the AAA industry seems like a waste of money to me. Instead of using that budget for innovation, they just use it to do the same thing over and over and over again. Yeah, well, the thing is they find a formula that works, that's safe, that people will buy into, and then they keep replaying it and remaking it over and over again so that people will just buy the same game more or less over and over again. Kanyan, welcome. I hope you are having a lovely Sunday. Welcome, welcome. And it's all about being safe. It's about what's going to guarantee profits. They don't want to take risks. They don't want to take gambles. It's not worth it to them. TLOU2 is still getting hate from bigoted fans. It's ridiculous. What's TLOU2? Oh, let me save while I'm here. Might as well. Oh, The Last of Us 2. I have not played Last of Us series. I've heard it's actually one of the better ones. Duke says, I foresee game development without capital working such that games get made by small studios, and when a game is very popular, they'll crowdfund to redo the game in a AAA style. That wouldn't be surprising to me at all, Duke. Especially how many people end up remaking titles from, like, older generations as it is. I'm reminded of, AM2R. Like, the remake of Metroid 2 for the Game Boy. And as, like, a complete fan-made project. And then you get people like, the guy who made, Sonic Mania, who was actually hired by Sega for his skills. I would agree with Jalex, it's such a waste of potential. Capitalism definitely creates innovation. Sarcasm. Yeah, no. I honestly do believe that capitalism, as it stands, definitely stops innovation. It stops creativity. It forces safe, uniform projects and doesn't allow for a lot of different ideas. Jalek says you can see this stuff in the VR space a lot. The funding is just lacking entirely there. Like right now, there's only a few dozen games that are worth playing. And Cyrus says, bigoted fans hate it because, oh, we have a woman who's muscular. 2 lesbians that aren't male gaze. Which I thank their studio for not sexualizing their female characters at all. And Jalek says, and when a big company does something, it's bullshit like Skyrim or Fallout 4 VR, that's just a badly done port that they sell for $60. Absolutely. No, yeah, the fans who are just like, oh my goodness, you know, Lara Croft doesn't look like Lara Croft anymore, or like anything like that, it's just absurd to me. It's like, why? Oh gee, how am I supposed to find that stupid pepper? I don't even get that secret rhyme. Hey, move over. Oh, sure. Wait, no, I have an idea, baby. Please don't. I'm afraid I can't let you pass, mortals, unless you offer me a tribute. Let's kick his butt, kid. No. If you beat me up, you will be cursed. Cursed? Come on, are you really gonna believe this guy? He's so full of it. I'm a talking candle that's being carried by a disembodied hand. Of course I believe in curses. You got me there. Very good. You must find a very special pepper for me. It can only be found inside the belly of the jungle. I opened the way for you, but beware. There are many types of peppers in the jungle. You must bring me the king of peppers. And this amazing pepper looks like only those who have seen it know of it. So you don't know. No, I don't, but I do know the secret riddle to find it. Spit it out already. The king of peppers deep in the maze resides. So nosy and clever, only he can smell my lies. So it's a nose pepper? If you wish to listen to the riddle again, talk to me. You are in the jungle entrance. You are selling antidotes, magic anvils, and potion refills. I will skip on that. Man, this place is already confusing. I recommend talking or bribing the local enemies. They must know this, how this place is connected. What if they're lost too? I don't know how to answer that. Capitalism forces innovation into the service of capitalism's particular needs. Absolutely true. Gangle. It ends up co-opting more than anything else. Jalek says there's so much possibility in VR, and we have games that do something genuinely interesting that could be done on any other platform, but they don't really have the content. Well, VR headsets are expensive and risky, so we can't really invest in something like that. Whoa. Okay, that was really cool. I feel like I just Sonic the Hedgehog those enemies. Maybe without capitalism and art, maybe we can actually have a diversification of media. Wouldn't that be something, right? Actually be able to have control over, to have some sort of control over, our own art and our own directions and not have to worry about selling our art for survival. A masked kid in the jungle. How strange. It looks like you're looking for something. The rarest item here is said to be found if you follow the bones buried underground. Il says, speaking of Sonics, there was a sound effect during the last area that sounded like Sonic breaking an item box from Sonic 2. Yes, I noticed that. I was gonna comment on that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's whenever you have those enemies that look like, the grounder from, from Sonic. Nope. Dang, these things have a lot of health. I found an antidote that cures poison. Too bad I'm burned. Wait, I want to check out what's going on up here a little bit more. Was that it? Does it just lead down to another area now? 2 ways. This is level 4. I want to go to level 2. Let's see what's down this way. Ooh, treasure chest. Now I'm poisoned. My health is getting low. This area is kind of a little bit of a spike in terms of how much damage you take. Oof, I just died. No. I'll continue from last checkpoint, that's fine. Maybe I can tell my story of Unstoppable with the Ubermites and have control of my universe and allow people to collectively write stories set in the story. Yes, I made it up, but it's not just mine. Well, I feel like that's a lot of what happens with fanfiction, right? Under capitalism, I gotta do IP, copyright, BS, sell my story to a corporation, and what's worse is the vision I wanted isn't gonna be fully realized. That is 100% true. And most unfortunate. We didn't lose too much progress there. I'll have to fight a few enemies again. This time, I am a little bit more prepared. And I realize how devastating burn is as a status effect in this game. I made the spider sad. Oh, I just got my shield cracked. That's not good. using a magic anvil. Yeah, the spider's a big jerk. Spiders in general are pretty awesome as far as I'm concerned, but these spiders are jerks. I want to go back and get that chest that I was going to get last time. And I got poisoned. Yay! Anything that eats insects is on my side for all I care. True. True. Hey, careful if you go in the volcano. Yeah, you could fall inside a spicy pit. Shut up, you idiot. The dawn will stomp us if you talk about the secret of the recipe. Did I say spicy? I meant hot. Yeah, molten lava. Let's do that. And I still got gunked up there. Okay, this is going much better. Even with the poison. Ooh, did that splash back at me? There we go. That went a lot better. Another HP upgrade, I can definitely use that. Insects are cool too, depending on which. Praying mantises are pretty cool as far as I'm concerned. I like praying mantises. Anything that's a parasite is a definite no. I also can't deal with, like, larvae. You are in level 7, this way to level 2. Oh boy, this is a maze. Maybe I should have bought the shield upgrade instead of the hammer upgrade. What about caterpillars? I'm genuinely not a fan of caterpillars. You're in level 7, this way to level 3. The path to the king starts here. Gnats can be very annoying. That is true. Gnats can indeed be very annoying. Let me put it this way. Caterpillars are beautiful over there. Insects are very interesting to observe and study. Dragonflies are pretty awesome, yeah. Insects are very interesting to observe, says Jaguar. Sometimes I go back in time. I wish I went back in time to study entomology and studied bugs. They did nothing to me. I'm not saying I'm killing them. I just have an issue with them. For reasons. That chest was bait for stupid burglars like you. Prepare to be burned. Can I just bribe you? I'm gonna bribe this guy. Ha! That chest was bait. Prepare to be burned. Ah, good person. My burning desire to kill fades at the sight of money. I'll tell you a secret in return. You must go to level 3 from here if you want to find the secret path to the King of Peppers. I do, but I kind of want to explore the rest of the maze. I love how I actually found the exit. Okay, that caterpillar's cute. Is it possible to do a pacifist run by bribing all the enemies? Someone's done it. I don't think there's a different ending or anything. I think the first enemy in the game you have to fight because the sword makes you do it. You're in level 7, this way to level 6. Okay. And we have an encounter. Level 7 is the key to finding a secret path to the precious treasure of Pica Pica Jungle. But I'm afraid that info is not free, so pay up. No, this is extortion. You do not get bribed. Oh, that's annoying. That is a very angry face. Oh, level up time. What are we picking? First choice gets it. Attack it is. Ill gets the win. You found an antidote potion. Nice, nice. So where does this lead? You're in level 6, this way to level 3. Try to get all these coins. I'm actually very tempted after I do this to run back and get a shield upgrade back at the castle. I also was supposed to check if I was missing any upgrades from the earlier areas of the game, and I forgot to do that between last week and this week. But I'm sure we'll be fine. Terrace doesn't like caterpillars, causing Alex Jones caterpillar to be like, you're under attack. Yes, the latest news, I'm now being destroyed for the fact that I am not the biggest fan of caterpillars. Funny thing is I like moths and butterflies. And caterpillars are fine if I don't have to touch them. Now, what I also am not a fan of is centipedes. Where does this lead? You're in level 4, this way to level 5. What's this way? You found a pepper, red and hot. That's not the king of peppers, but that might be one of the ones that, that one person who collects peppers wanted. Oh yeah, millipedes too. Ooh. Do you know that they're, how huge they were during the time of the dinosaurs? Yes, and anybody with any sense should be absolutely terrified of that concept. Jaguar says, I love butterflies and moths. Butterflies have a big place in my culture's mythos and stories. It makes me so sad to see environmental destruction and climate change. True. Prehistoric centipedes were like 7 feet tall. Exactly. You found an apartment key. It leads to a treasure, I bet. Ooh. Neat. A huge moth or butterfly would be cool. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I hear what you're saying, Jaguar. The effects of climate change have really devastated butterfly populations. And they do hold a very spiritual and important significance for a number of different cultures. A huge moth or butterfly would eat you too, probably. True. But a huge moth and butterfly is not generally as big as a giant centipede. Or millipede. Wait, where does this lead? Is this a secret in the trees? Oh. Hello. The Great Dawn wasn't always so great in size, I mean. He suffered some kind of transformation thanks to Lord Stitches. I heard the Dawn is as old as Stitches himself. They go way back, apparently. Ow! I just got one punched. That was 46 damage. That was half my health. And now I'm all the way back at the entrance. I was at like 50 health. What the hell was that? And I tried to, like, block it, and nope. Indeed, indeed. Maximum rage. Oh, we're back here again. Okay. Right, this one broke my shield last time. And now I'm burned. I'm in trouble here. These enemies are no joke. Alright, I'm just gonna let this thing kill me. Because this was going so bad. Whoa, difficulty spike. This was not this hard in the previous area. Dark Souls. No, not even close to Dark Souls. Then again, what would I know? I've actually never played Dark Souls. Alright, this time we're gonna do different. Ah, that's frustrating. I missed. There we go. Shield's gone. And mine's not. Game's very political for a fantasy game. How did I get splashback from that? Most of the Miyazaki Souls games are from Bloodborne to Sekiro. Let's head back down this way. That means we gotta get that other pepper again, and I have no idea how I even got there. Alright. We've got 2 spiders this time. No, 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 no. That's not good. Shield cracked there. Got one. Healing. I don't feel like replaying that. Seriously? I'm gonna die. Again. had no shield, I couldn't block anything. I probably should go back to the village once in a while and save, but that was like the second fight I was in. Jay, welcome. How are you doing today? Sekiro has more, so one of the main characters is so afraid of their clan line from dying, and you got a session with immortality, which seems to... which is seen as a corruption in the world. Gotcha. I'm doing alright. I've just been getting my butt kicked in this game. Like, the difficulty spiked all of a sudden. In Buddhism, in Japan, and China, immortality is a bad thing. Well, I don't feel like there's a reasonable explanation for immortality being a good thing. There we go. As long as I keep that shield up without getting cracked, it should be fine. There we go. Sekiro, the corruption and the obsession with immortality and the fear of letting go of the past and accepting change no matter how uncertain is the biggest theme. That's a really good theme to have in a game. That's one that I've been looking out for because one of my favorite games of all time is Fury. Which is kind of... I don't know if I would just call it like Souls-like, but it's got the similar concept where you're fighting a lot of bosses mostly. Jay says, I always wanted to make simple games like this. What, if I may ask, has stopped you? I'm assuming capitalism? I did play it on the Discord a while back. That is one of my favorite games of all time. The combat is completely on point. It is one of the, in my opinion, one of the best designed boss rush type games that there is. This is going a lot better. There we go. One of them's down, and I haven't even really taken that much damage. And now you're pretty much frozen in the air. I should be able to get 3 shots. Oh, missed one. Got him. Okay. Not too bad. That was a much better thing. The game is Fury, F-U-R-I. No, it is definitely not a Sunday chill stream. I can also beat that game in an hour. The whole premise is that you are a prisoner in, like, this giant prison thing. And somebody comes and frees you, and you have to fight all the jailers. And there is story behind it, and there's definitely subtext to read there, but it's just a very meditative process. Like, to me, being able to predict the moves and go through it all, I don't know. It just flows in a way that I can't explain. And there are people who can speedrun that game to a crazy extent. Like, I've never seen... Like, people can beat that in like a half-hour flat. Like, they've completely outpaced the developer times. Where do I want to go? I want that chest over there. That would be a pretty good place to end up. You found cold water, it cures burn. Yes. Has anyone here interested in seeing Dear Evan Hansen? What is Dear Evan Hansen? I've never heard of that. So count me intrigued. This place is confusing, and I am very tempted to pull up a map to help me. It's a Broadway musical turned film. That would explain it. I am not versed in Broadway stuff. The Twitter discourse on it is very disappointing. If you wanted to talk about it, Jay, and inform us, definitely let me know, like, what you think of it, why you like it, or don't like it, or... Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull up a map of the jungle maze super quick. Just to... Oh, you know what? I didn't realize that I was on the wrong side of the screen this whole time. Whoopsies. I forgot to switch it back when I was looking at the stuff before. But that was a preview of what we're going to be talking about very shortly. That I popped on screen. So... Let me pull up this map. Jungle, maze, looking at Underhero, jungle labyrinth map. Let's get this to load. Here we are. Okay, we are currently, I think, on level 7. Yes, I think that is correct. Okay, that is much easier to follow. Maybe we're not on 7? Hold on. Let me figure out what area we're in. Oh no, I see where we are. Maybe? I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe we're in level 4. I'm gonna get to a sign so I can figure out what level we're on and figure out my position. Because this area is extremely difficult to follow. Also, oh, I happened upon a chest. leading me? Okay. This is a sign. You are in level 7. This way leads to level 6. Okay, so I see where I am. So, I don't know if I got all the chests here, so I'm gonna check and explore through 7. I got that chest over there. So I want to go this way. This will lead me to area 2, which I don't want to go to yet. Having a map just makes this so much easier. Okay, this way leads to a chest? Yes. This is the fire bat. Okay, I got that chest. Then there's the pathway that leads to level 3, which will take us to the king pepper, but we don't want that yet. We want to clear the other areas and get the other peppers. So there should be a chest. This way. No? Okay, this way. Which we got. And this will bring us back onto the main path. Which leads us down. Into this chest. So we got all the chests in area 7. 7 is clear. Jay says Evan Hansen is a high school senior with severe depression and anxiety. Has no friends. One day the school, quote, crazy kid commits suicide soon after stealing one of Evan's letters to himself, which he always heads, Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be a good day because. So everyone thinks he was the kid's friend, which makes his family happy to know that he had friends, so Evan perpetuates the lie and shenanigans take place. That sounds really interesting, actually. So, what is the, bad takes on Twitter that you're upset with? Because, you know, Twitter's, famous for its bad takes. So, we should head to area 2 or 6. Do we all want to go to area 2 or area 6? Let's see. Oh, area 2 won't help us. At all. So 6 it is. You know what this is reminding me of in terms of game? There's a game that's a Metroidvania that is based around pinball, Yoku's Island Express. That game is so fun. That's one I wouldn't mind replaying on Chill Sunday stream. Because I've played through that game. That game is adorable. He just robbed me. Alright, so this level up is the same one that I got before, so I'm gonna go with what was pointed out last time. This is not a new level up, unfortunately. So, I'm just gonna stick with what we went with last time. Because otherwise I think that would be a little unfair. So this is area 6. Yeah, it was attack. I went with it again. What is F? Hold on. There is... There's a vine up here. Is there a way to... I think there might be a way up here. What do I think about using the pole function for level up? I don't know how to use the pole function. So I don't know. If anyone wants to look into that, I'd be fine with that. Oh, and I think I missed what Jalix had said before. This also... There's some bullshit there. It was mostly funded through public funds, but there's also a state broadcasting thing. It was available online for free like a year and a half ago. And that it went the way of regular TV shows only being available behind a paywall, although it was funded through taxes. That's terrible. Oh, I see. Jalix, you might be able to make a poll. So this takes me to area 3. There's more stuff here, but I have to go through... in 6, but I have to go through 3 to get to 6. Duly noted. So this is where I entered in to 3, and this goes in a giant circle. Which is good to know. And then this goes right back down to where we started. More or less. Anyone with mod status should be able to make a poll if I have access to that function. So Jalix, you might be able to. Wait, where did I end up? Okay, this is the upper part of the double loop. Might be easier to do it in the website as opposed to the app. That is true. This would lead us to area 4. I don't want to go to area 4 yet. What I do want to do is go up this way. Oh, hey! Look who it is. The Dawn hates these bomb peppers with a passion. I take care of their disposal. You better stay away from these, or you sneaky little twerp, or you'll join those buried bones down there. Well, I've got full health this time. Let's do this. That still took out half my health. Wait, it might actually be advantageous to get hit by his other attacks. It makes him laugh and his rage goes down. Interesting mechanic. So how do I deal with this? Because those have spikes on them. But there's money under it, and I want the money. Oh, I can just walk into it. That was not clear, developer. So this will take me back to Area 6 and allow me to finish it off. So I think the goal with that enemy is to basically let them hit you with the weak attacks so their rage goes down and you don't have to deal with that, 40 damage hit. This jungle's awesome. I especially love hanging up here above the trees. You can get all sorts of places from up here. If you see the vines, try climbing all the way up. You know what? Oh, I can't bribe this one? Oh well. I was gonna let this one go. And we've got one of the peppers we need. Jaguar says, yay, done with the subbing project for today, on to the next project. Jaguar, you were always busy. You are always doing projects. I don't know how you have the stamina to always do things. It is quite impressive. So we're back now in Area 3. So we're gonna want to go to Area 4 from here, which is this way. You mean they, Batman, King Cyrus. Found the Jalix found the YouTube help page for it. That is awesome. I am glad that you found that. No worries, no worries. Jaguar says, thanks, Tara. I'm just too much of a busybody, I guess. And I like to make things. Well, if you're enjoying it, then there's definitely no harm in it. Alright, where am I in Area 4 right now? Okay, that's where the pepper is. So I missed some stuff, but we can go get the rest of it. After we get the pepper, and I'm poisoned. You know what, let me use one of these antidotes that I have, because why not? So this, if I go up, would lead me to level 5. I don't want to go to level 5 yet. I want to head back down this way. There was a chest down here. Did I get that? No. I think I'm going to make it my mission after this area to head back to the starting place and get a save in. Because I do not want to accidentally get knocked out. So that's that little path there. This should lead back in a circle, so I'll take that path down. to get the coins. And after I hit up the save point, while we're still finishing going through this, I will take a quick break, and then we should get to our topic for today. Because today's topic's gonna be a intense one. I'm furious at this one. So if I go up, it'll take me to area 5, next to the other fruit tree. But I don't want to go that way. I'm going to go down and around. That'll take me back to area 1. Bingo. This is where I want to be. The German elections are kind of infuriating to be well. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that too. We've got time for that. Okay, that's there. I'm gonna go back and actually save the game. Because we've cleared areas 7, 6, and 3. And most of area 4. And I do not want to risk getting one punched and end up having to do all that we just did again. There's 7 areas in total. We've cleared area 1. We've cleared area 3. We've cleared area 7, and we've cleared area 6, and most of 4. Mostly we have 5, and I think parts of 2 to go back to. And then we can move on to the next section where the king pepper is. I'm looking at a maze map right now. That's how I know. So with that, I am gonna run, and I will be right back. And then we'll get into our topic. I will leave you with this music. And, oh boy, do I have a lot to say. And I look forward to hearing what you all have to say as well. Okay, and we are back. Ah. I have not played Control. I think it might have been in a bundle recently, but I have not had a chance to play it. I really like the aesthetics and general feel of the story. I gotta go back and play some of the DLC sometimes. Honestly, if it's got a good story, I'm there for it. So, I am going to... How do I want to do this? Because I want to make sure that you all can hear this clip that I'm about to play. Hopefully the music won't be too much of a big deal with it. So what I want to talk about today and what I want to bring to your attention is a clip that I have seen several different places on the internet that has me absolutely infuriated. So I am going to switch over to this so you can all see it. This is a clip. There will be some choice language, and rightfully so in this clip, of a bunch of people or a bunch of sanitation workers in the city of New York in the Bronx throwing out a bunch of food that was at a vendor that was there in the Bronx.
And you think you some shit, and there's people out here ain't got no motherfucking food. How dare you?
Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. I should turn the music option in the game off. Good point. Good point. Thank you for that, Jalix. I'll replay the clip. One second. Let me pull it back up. They are throwing away food.
Stupid authority, and you think you some shit, and there's people out here ain't got no motherfucking food. How dare you? How dare both of y'all say some shit like that? There's people out here ain't got no fucking food, but y'all don't do the motherfucking garbage. How fucking dare you? I ain't eat all day, and you gonna take the motherfucking like for fucking stupid authority, and you...
Wouldn't it be easier to let people have it? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So, we have a tweet here from the Street Vendor Project. In the middle of a pandemic in the Bronx, where 1 in 5 people do not have enough to eat, the New York City Sanitation Department trashed a business, destroying produce in a food desert. This family was just trying to run a small business and sell affordable fruits and vegetables. Beyond wrong. We have more clips of this, of basically the food being taken and thrown into the sanitation truck. Cops are there naturally. Oh, of course they are. Yeah. And this is just a clip of the vendor, by the way, just so we can put a human face to this.
Okay. Toma, mi amor. Para ayudarle, ¿ok? Pero mucho lo desbloque. Okay, se llama Brandy, se llama Nan. Ok, se llama Joseph. Unos cuantos. Ok, muchísimas gracias por ayudarte para la mercancía, ¿ok? Okay.
Present Tomato, welcome. Right now we're watching some clips about a situation in New York City where they basically had a sanitation truck show up and throw out a bunch of food that was at a vendor. That is the wrong thing I wanted to do. I wanted to switch over to here. It truly is sad, ill. Que triste indeed. I'm angry. I'm angry at seeing this. So the thing that they're using to justify this is also Present Tomato. I did not say welcome. I hope you're having a lovely day. I just do want to point that out. Even if I'm angry at what's going on politically, I want to make sure that everyone is treated with a warm welcome here. That said, I am really angry and frustrated about this for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, the excuse that they're using with all of this, and I'm just going to put this on screen so we can look at that. The reason that they're citing for this is that because this particular vendor did not have a license, that the food could be quote-unquote contaminated. And therefore, it is considered unsafe and inedible. So they're throwing away food in a food desert, which the Bronx very much is, because of the fear that it could cause a health hazard. And there are people online, on Reddit and other places that I've seen, who have made the argument, oh, it very much is a health and safety issue, and the food needed to be thrown out to protect people, and all this other stuff. And I need to just be the person to say they are all 100% wrong. First of all, I just need to point out, how do you contaminate a banana? Like, there's bananas there. Most of the strawberries are sealed. Most of the produce there is sealed. Juca, you're going to slice that off anyway. How is that going to be contaminated? What are they talking about when they're talking about this food being potentially unsafe? The second thing I need to point out is a lot of places, like New York City, limit the amount of licenses that they are allowed to give out. And because of that, a lot of people, especially from certain communities, are not able to get licenses, especially in areas where there are food deserts. Where it's also considered not profitable for people to be able to get food and produce delivered to the stores in their neighborhoods by the corporations and companies who run supermarkets, for example. They are underserved, as Jaguar pointed out, they are underserved communities in the Bronx. This is completely outrageous. I also need to point out that in most parts of the rural United States, you can go up to a food truck at a farmer's market and you could just get produce. This is normal. You don't need a license. You don't need the state's interference. A farmer takes their stuff to a place and you buy it. And that's how it works. So this is absolutely ridiculous. This is also no different if they're worried about listeria, if they're worried about salmonella or anything else that might affect these fruits. How is this any different from a supermarket or any other store? And I also need to mention that, we're so worried about listeria. We're so worried about any disease or contaminants that could be on this food that looks perfectly fine and perfectly edible. And yet, half of the United States, more or less, hasn't been fully vaccinated. And yet, hospital beds and ICUs are filling up, and nobody seems to care about the health crisis that's actually going on, but we're going to take away food from people who can't afford it. People in a food desert who can't get access to it otherwise. That's who we're worried about. Exactly, Jaguar. They're scared of salmonella, but they're not worried about COVID. And this is the absurdity. Also, I need to just
You
state,
think you
are those sanitation workers not wearing masks? Is that just me?
some shit, and it's people out here ain't got no
One of them
motherfucking
is.
food.
I don't know if the other one was. This is nonsense. And this is capitalism at its finest. There's a limited amount of licenses that one can get. Both of them got no mask? Yeah, that's what I thought. But you've got a limited amount of license in a city. You find somebody who doesn't have a license, they get reported, and then you throw out all their food. There's no empathy here. There's no care. This is not a health issue. This is absurdity. And this is a problem of capitalism, because every time food, these type of neighborhoods like the Bronx and neighborhoods like them across, like the Bronx across the country, when you have a situation where supermarkets are not incentivized to carry produce and certain types of foods because it is too costly to ship it in, because the food there is going to end up being close to rotten by the time that it gets onto the store shelves, because, all the different reasons that I can talk about. Yeah, this is how you create food deserts. This is how you make sure people can't get healthy foods. And then the medical industry in these neighborhoods will be the first ones to point out, oh, why are these people so unhealthy? And they'll literally say it just like that. Why are these people so unhealthy? With the racist undertones completely in there. And that's the pillar of capitalism here. Person isn't doing any harm. And it just goes to show also, whenever you have a situation where people of color, and this is far too common, try their hands at capitalism and to try to make a small business work or anything like that, they will get stomped out by the state. It always happens. Always happens. You look at history, that's how it goes. And so this bothers me on so many different levels, and I'm going to catch up with you guys in chat quickly, and then we'll see where we're going from there. If I appear to be seething, it is because I am. This is the most infuriating thing to me. Food waste is something that I personally cannot handle and deal with. Food is sacred. Food is life. And to throw it out without any sort of, second thought is absolutely ridiculous. Let me catch up with chat. Jaguar said they're throwing out food in a food desert. King Cyrus, are you fucking kidding me? So you don't test the fucking food? Total dog shit. Absolutely. Jalex, worse of a health hazard than freaking McDonald's. Absolutely. You have access to fresh produce. And this is someone who's also respected in the community, from what I understand, and has having their business completely wiped out. Jaguar said, I read the... No, I didn't read that. I'm sick and tired of when people that are not from a community feel like they're entitled to say anything. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that, because... people online want to talk, oh, it's a health issue. We need to protect people. The best way you can protect people is making sure they have food. The person talking in this clip is talking about how they didn't have a meal today and they're watching food being thrown out. Like, I don't know if you all caught that. Like, I'm just going to play it again.
You think you some shit, and it's people out here ain't got no motherfucking food.
There's people out here who don't have no food.
How dare you?
How dare you?
How dare both of y'all say some shit like that? There's people out here ain't got no fucking food. But y'all don't do the motherfucking garbage. How fucking dare you? I ain't eat all day. You gonna take the motherfucking like eat for fucking
I ain't eaten all day. That's what she just said, or they just said. And this is what we're talking about. Imagine being in a place where you're hungry and you haven't eaten all day and you're seeing this amount of food be thrown out. I don't know how I would take it. I've been in a place before personally where I've been without food This is one of the worst things to see. There's aloe there. The aloe ain't gonna be bad. Come on. You're destroying a person's business and livelihood, an actual small business. You're destroying a community's access to food. And for what? King Cyrus says that they're full of they're full of shit. Ilsa had said get some inspectors out there and inspect it or something. Yeah, you could have just inspected the food. Heck, give the food away at the very least if you're really that concerned about it. You know, there are laws on the books in most states, and I'm pretty sure New York has it as well, where if you give out food, you are not in any way liable if the food is bad for any reason. Jalix had said put a razor blade inside it. I don't know. You could do that at a grocery store as well. Probably much easier since the vendor's always there. True. And you know what? The vendor's watching over the food. That's the other thing, right? People are worried about contamination, but do you think about the fact that how many people are in a store touching the different fruits and vegetables all the time and are touching like the tomatoes, for example, or touching all the different foods that you're going to buy, and you don't know if they've washed their hands, you don't know if they've sneezed into their hands. Like, not trying to be like a weird germaphobe about things, but like, let's be real about the level of contamination that's also in supermarkets. The supermarkets aren't monitoring this fruit. This person here is literally standing there all day watching this food. So how is it more contaminated than a supermarket? Uh, it's about undercutting the corporations. Can't have that here. Oh yeah. The thing is, the corporations don't even have the produce in in the Bronx and other neighborhoods like the Bronx. They don't consider it necessary for them to bring in that level of produce because one, it's too expensive for people to afford, and two, it's when they do bring in the food, it ends up, rotten by the time it gets there, and then they don't want to, they can't sell it, so they're not incentivized to do so. There's no incentive, and it's not because people don't want fresh fruits and vegetables. It's because the prices are marked up and it's exorbitant, and people don't have the money to pay for this level of expensive stuff. So places like this probably buy it in bulk and then sell it on the street for a decent price that people can afford. They're probably doing a service. King Cyrus says gentrification. Ill says no empathy at all. Jalix says it happened to 85% in 10-year period. Some do get, though. Jaguar said, when people try to do for themselves, they get stomped, but I guess we should all just pick ourselves up from our bootstraps. That's the thing, Jaguar. Picking yourself up and trying to make a small business is only for some people and only for certain periods of time when the state's comfortable with it. Ill says so many people could have benefited from all this healthy food. Absolutely. Jaguar says, I guess some people get the boot and use those boots to keep stomping on others. Ill says the exact opposite of what the state is supposed to do. They would rather throw away food than feed starving people. 100% correct. But that's capitalism. It's more efficient to, throw out food than provide it to people. Dialect says, I cannot and never have experienced hunger in my life, and I cannot possibly imagine it. What I will say is that going through hunger changes your perspective on life drastically. I don't wish that upon anybody. Nobody should have to be hungry. And being in that place, it changes you psychologically, it changes your mentality, it changes how you interact with food. You never want to be in that place again if you get out of it. And so I'm just pointing that out. And I appreciate your honesty with that, Jalix. It's not something, again, that I would wish on anybody. King Cyrus says, no, this happened to my uncle's friend. They arrested him for street vending without a license in Flatbush, and he asked them to get the inspectors. But no, they didn't, and these folks are full of it. Yeah, because they're not worried about the inspectors. They're worried about having the limited amount of licenses and having it exclusive. And I'm sure that if we look at the statistics and found out who has access to licenses, that we'd find a good deal of racism involved with it all. Gangle says, I don't see any reason to think this food is a health risk. Me neither. Me neither. It's no more of a risk than any other food that you're going to get. And again, in rural areas of the United States, this is the norm. You grow the food on a farm, you bring it out to a place, usually a decided on location ahead of time that has some sign or whatever, and you go pick it up. Some of the best food is off the back of a truck, like in most rural parts of the country. Like, why is it any different? You see the trucks in a lot of different places that are selling seafood, that are selling produce. You often see watermelon trucks doing the same thing. Like, it's not uncommon across the United States to see things like that. This is ridiculous. And, some people actually had the nerve to be like, oh, well, you're crowding the streets with your cart. Well, why is that an issue? They're not blocking the sidewalk. Like, chill. Like, chill, for real. Jaguar says it's a health risk to the corporations and the state's wallets. The prices are always way too expensive in food deserts and are always rotten. Yeah. Thank you for talking about that as well, because it's infuriating. Cyrus says, what happened, and I think this is what happened because I live in the city for years, a bunch of middle-class white New Yorkers don't like these vendors because they're the ones who called. And gentrification then becomes the major issue. Why don't they like the vendors? Like, I don't even understand it. They're the first ones to run to an actual farmer's, like, a farmer's market, like in a place like, what's that place? Is it Union Square that I'm thinking of? Cyrus, it's been a while. Like, don't they have a farmer's market there? And they're not angry at that. Jaguar said, sorry if I'm sort of rambling or not making sense, but this got me so angry. No, I'm with you. I'm right there with you, Jaguar. I'm angry too. We shouldn't be having food deserts in the first place. It should be the state's responsibility to make sure that people are fed. If we're going to have this government and this system, it might as well be useful for something. Are the licenses limiting competition? Probably. And there's a lot of nonsense that goes on there. Ill says all these sanctions the US has on Latin American countries, you'll never see this happen in Cuba or Venezuela. Absolutely true, 100%. I'm completely with you in that. There's no way I could imagine this happening in Cuba. That said, the US also... You want to know how this also gets really insidious, since you're bringing up the rest of Latin America? Where did the strawberries come from? Who picked them? Where did those bananas come from? Who picked them? Where did that yucca come from? Who gathered it? Think about that. It's not just the waste in the sense of the food going to waste, right? It's the fact that this right here, all this food, most of it is a product of colonialism and imperialism. And so you're taking the work of people in largely Latin America or Latin American immigrants to the United States, and you're taking the work that they've done, and you're tossing it in the trash and not allowing people, largely in communities where there's black and brown people, to get access to it. You want to take it to the full extent of things? That's what we're talking about here. Because those bananas did not grow in the US. I'll tell you that much. That yucca did not grow in the US. Those strawberries are probably from South America. And you have it all shipped, which of course takes fossil fuels. You have it shipped up to the United States. and then you throw it in the garbage. So people spilled their blood, sweat, and tears to grow that food, for you to ship it up to a place, and when someone tries to sell it to people to make sure they have healthy meals in a food desert, you throw it out. There's no words. There's no words. Imperialism's why we have watermelons too, because they originated from South Africa. True. It makes me think of someone who's hungry right now. Yeah. No, it's infuriating. It's absolutely infuriating, Il. And you know what the worst part about that to me is? Is I kind of wish, if nothing else, that some like leftists could have gotten their hands on this before the sanitation department did. If nothing else. Because they would have been the first ones. You want to make sure that those strawberries are protected? Boil them, turn them into jam. You're not gonna have issues then. The juca's gonna need to be cooked anyway. You can't eat it raw. The tomatoes, fry them up. Gango says they likely wanted to stop an unlicensed business, so what to do with all the produce? There's nowhere the city can store, so we just say it's a health risk and trash it. It's just an excuse. Meanwhile, there's probably got to be some leftist, anarchist organization of some sort in New York, or even some like local just organization that's not even like explicitly leftist that would have taken this food and done something with it. This will all end up as methane in the atmosphere, and Kanyan says it won't even be composted. True. It's not. It's just going to end up in a trash heap under everything else. Buried with all the plastic, mind you. So it's not even going to be able to rot properly. You're going to have all those strawberries buried in plastic that are crushed within this sanitation vehicle. We don't have a mandate that food can't be thrown away like France has. Companies get like tax incentives, I think. King Cyrus says, yep, imperialism's why we have... Oh, I read that already. Il says, it just makes me... I read that. Jay says, I missed a lot. More or less, Jay, what you missed is this clip where we're looking at food literally being thrown out. If you go back in the chat a little bit, in the stream a little bit, rather, you should be able to follow most of what happened. But, yeah, it's... This stuff gets me angry. And I'm really glad to have you all here in this, because this is one of those things that if I were to make a video on, like, I don't know how to keep my composure with, because I can't handle the food stuff. The thing is, there are people in food insecurity here because of shitty employment system, which forces you once you hit a bad spell without employment. Which forces you to sell all your assets before you get help, and confines you to poverty for the rest of your life because you sold your home, your car, and had to move somewhere cheap. Cyrus says that's true, and our unemployment system is shit. There has to be. And conservatives still call them welfare queens. Yeah. Yeah, they do the same thing here. It's the same nonsense. And they keep people down. And so this person literally had their business wiped out and destroyed. And I don't know. And I'm hoping there are people in the community that are able to maybe help this person get back on their feet and maybe do it somewhere else behind the scenes. But you can't even trust that the cops won't be called again. And when you have, like Cyrus said, when you have gentrification, when you have largely white people coming in and you have this person in the community who's well respected and they don't like the stand, first thing they're going to do is call the cops, and the cops are going to show up, and this is what's going to happen. All this food just goes to waste. And honestly, what we need is something akin to food banks. And places where people can just get access to stuff. We're gonna, like, it needs to be implemented, but then again, with what money? You know, sometimes as leftists, we don't exactly have the money to throw at everything. And so, yeah, that's all of it for me. I'm gonna get back to the game now, cause reasons. But we can keep talking about it if y'all want. I just needed to get that out of my system. I wanted to share it with you all, and I wanted to talk about it. So, let me turn the music back on. And let me pull up the map again so I can keep going. So I want to thank you all for sharing that conversation with me and continuing this, because nothing like food waste to get me infuriated. Food and water waste, honestly, those are the two that drive me wild with that. It's like, I can't. Cyrus says same here too, but these people, because Alexium got deported because he had the audacity to give homeless people fruits and mangoes. Are you kidding me? You gave somebody fruits and mangoes and almost got deported? You know, one of the things that isn't talked about enough is how organizations like the Black Panthers would set up facilities to feed children. And one of the things that COINTELPRO had stated, more than anything else, is that the thing they were upset about was that they were feeding children. That is one of the main reasons they got stomped on, is because they provided food and care to their own communities, and they didn't have to rely on the state in that regard. Yes, I needed that. More HP for the shield. When I get a little bit more money, another 60 money, I'm gonna grab that other shield upgrade. Isn't giving food legal for Good Samaritan laws and such? So I don't know what it is like in New York City, specifically. Every location, unfortunately, is different. But, I'm pretty sure New York has that. But yeah, no, feeding people is the most offensive act in certain regards. Because when you feed people, the state loses control. Capital class loses control. I mean, Fox News recently said it. If you keep people hungry, you can keep people under control. Ill says communities need food sovereignty. 100%. And you know what the other thing is? Neighborhoods like that are food deserts often will have regulations that prevent them from having community gardens and other such things to grow their own food. But then it's allowed in other neighborhoods. And I don't know if that's explicitly happening in the Bronx. I'm sure it probably is. Jaguar had said, how is feeding people an issue? It's an issue because it undercuts the control. Present Tomato, definitely catch you later. Hope you have enjoyed. Now, where were we? This leads us back to level 3. We have been to level 3. This is the path that came in from the entrance. Okay, we don't want that. Jalek says, honestly, I think Christianity of Christian conservatives is far removed from the actual teachings of Christ, but it could be considered an entirely different, a religion entirely different. Cyrus says, person did street vending without a license, so they called cops on him, but everyone in the community knew he gave homeless folks food while street vending. Somehow he was committing fraud. They'll just throw any charge at people. They really will. Second Thought has a video of how conservatives co-opted Christianity. Yeah, I want to check that out. I haven't had a chance to see that. Was it a good video? Second Thought usually has really informative and good videos in that regard. We were in Area 4 trying to finish it up. I'll have to check it out sometime in the next couple of days. So this leads to Area 5. And this should be another... You found a pepper fancy and yellow. Cool, cool. And this is Area 5, so we want to go down this way. And if we go down, we go to Area 2, which actually, let's do that, because that's a section of Area 2 we couldn't reach before. And we have an enemy. I'm searching for the nosy pepper. Get lost. We're already lost, thank you very much. Hey kid, this guy might know something. Why don't you try bribing him? Yeah, sure. And if the sword wants me to bribe, I'll bribe. Damn, that's expensive. You're expensive. I have taken your money, so this is advice in return. The way to the King of Peppers is carved with bones. Not sure what that means, but there are bones decorating the water tunnels of level 3 and 7. You found a pepper blue and tame. Oh, at least I got some of the money back there. King Cyrus says, my brother can tell you which verses they take to justify their conservatism. Jalix says, honestly, nearly all videos of Second Thought are good. Actually, I can't really think of a bad video of his off the top of my head. Neither can I, actually. How do I get the seashells here? I know the person in the, town area had mentioned something about getting seashells. So this is back in Area 5. We can go up this way. And here's a chest. Maybe try rush into them with the swirly... Oh, good idea, good idea. We are not getting through here. Okay. So then I have to come up there from another area. I have to come from Area 4. Okay, I see what that's about. So this is back in Area 2. Let me try using the spin. Except I don't know how to angle myself. No, spinning into it doesn't